What do you get when you take unregulated markets, privatized everything, and sprinkle in just enough economic inequality to make people fight over avocado toast? You get the dystopian sense that it's all designed to extract profit and the world is set up to screw you. Although that might be for another video, because today we're talking about the policies that got us here. This is part 1 of 2, Neoliberalism, Toonsplained. So, neoliberalism. It's like the Monopoly game of economic policies, except no one wins, and the board is owned by 3 or 4 rich f***s. Gary, you were around when this whole thing kicked off. Care to explain? Sure. Back in the 80s, Regan and Thatcher promised us the world. Deregulation, free markets, and privatization. It was a gloriously junked up version of capitalism. And look, it worked for me. My house was worth like 80 grand. Now, $1 million. Yes, congratulations on being a landlord. You've achieved the American dream. Meanwhile, back here in Gen Z, my rent is half my income, and I can't afford a house unless I sell feet pics. Thanks for that, Gary. Neoliberalism wasn't just about housing. It was a global movement. Deregulation of industries, cutting taxes for the rich, and privatizing public services. And here's the kicker, it was sold to us as freedom. Yeah, freedom for corporations to crush the rest of us. Remember the financial crisis in 2008? That was the neolibs' greatest hit. Banks gambled with people's lives, crashed the economy, got bailed out, and then gave themselves bonuses. Okay, but the stock market bounced back. Doesn't that mean neoliberalism works? If you own stocks. Meanwhile, wages stayed stagnant, public services got gutted, and millennials and Gen Z got stuck eating ramen while boomers were yucking it up at Peter Luger. Yeah, they got the good life and we get scraps. I hate it here. I want my designer gym clothes and a $1,500 custom portrait of my pet. That's what you think luxury is? Good God, Gen Z is weird. Anyway, let's clear something up. The liberal in neoliberalism has nothing to do with modern progressivism or what we call liberals in the US today. It actually comes from classical liberalism. Think Adam Smith, free markets, and minimal government. Oh, like how they used to believe in personal freedom and property rights? Exactly. But neoliberalism took that foundation and turbocharged it with deregulation and privatization. It's less about social justice or progressive policies, and more about letting markets run wild while telling the government to sit in the corner like a good girl. Yeah, so basically it's the evil twin of modern progressivism. Progressives want the government to at least have the ability to protect people, healthcare, education, climate change, while neoliberalism says, nah, let the free markets handle it. And the free market handles it about as well as Gary handles TikTok. I tried to post the video. It took me 3 hours and somehow turned into a slideshow of my horses. That's what I mean, Gary. Let's talk examples. The privatization of utilities in the UK under Margaret Thatcher turned essentials like water into profit machines. Here in the US, deregulated healthcare means we pay $200 for Tylenol in a hospital. Oh, and don't forget trade policies like NAFTA, outsourcing jobs and leaving whole towns jobless. Yeah, NAFTA turned the Rust Belt into the Dust Belt, and now those towns are filled with Dollar Generals in disrepair. Real glow up. Well, you know, I always thought competition drives innovation. Cool, Gary. Where's the innovation in insulin prices? They just keep going up. What's wild is that even progressives fell for this. Remember the Clintons? Democrats were basically Reagan light. Welfare reform, a crime bill, and all those cozy Wall Street connections. Exactly. But modern progressives are shifting away from that. Bernie Sanders, AOC, they're pushing for Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, and an actual living wage. It's like they remembered that the government can actually help people. You know what I'm about to ask, right, man? I have to ask, right? Fine, just say it. I mean, how do you pay for all this? Ugh, of course that's what everyone asks. The same way we pay for endless wars and corporate bailouts, Gary. Except this time the money would actually help people. Yeah, Gary, let's take all the billionaire money hoarded in yachts and just, I don't know, tax it? You mean tax the job creators? Yeah, because Jeff Bezos personally delivers every Amazon package, right? I mean, it's a novel concept here in America, but it seems unthinkable for actual working people to get something in return for our tax dollars. What do we get in return for paying taxes now? Usually just a bunch of bombs that kill brown kids overseas. You mean unalive? The algorithm is listening. Sure. So that's neoliberalism, a world where markets matter more than people. Public goods become private profits, and housing is an investment instead of a home. The good news? More people are waking up to how broken the system is. Bad news? Gary still thinks he's living in 1984. Hey, I read that book. It's about how big government is bad, right? Sure, Gary, that's the takeaway. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe share this video with your neolib uncle who thinks privatizing libraries is a good idea. This has been Neoliberalism Toonsplained, and we'll see you soon for part 2, Neoconservatism.